Hello and welcome to a very special cover story podcast. I have with me Supriya Srinate. She is the head of the Congress social media cell. She handles the digital outreach. But more than that, I think she is the Congress party's most feisty and articulate face, and the only one I think Supriya, where BJP spokespersons actually ask, "Kaun hai Supriya? Acha acha, fir I don't know." They think twice,
I
which
don't know
is
about
an
that.
amazing feat, I must say.
No, I don't know about that. But yeah, I think one always needs to be prepared, and I think one needs to be sticking to their facts. And once you are factual, the BJP does take a step back because the BJP believes in fluff and faff and all kinds of fake news. And one of my specialities is I bust fake news and I give it to them as good as I get. So if you're going to be nice and courteous to me, I'm going to be very nice and courteous to you. If you're going to be nice and courteous about my leader, I shall be extremely nice and courteous about your leader. I will never start a feud with you, but if you start one, I'm going to finish it.
Well said, but there is also this thing amongst the BJP spokespersons that you are also very aggressive. They say that so then the tone of the whole conversation gets 2 decibels higher, and they are saying the opposite. They are saying that coming to you, they themselves start gearing up for a fight.
Actually, it's a lot of hypocrisy, and I don't think it's restricted to the BJP alone. If a woman is assertive, she's aggressive. But if a man is assertive, he's very good. It's a function of hypocrisy. A woman who puts across her point strongly, and you can pick up any debate that I go to or any talk or any interview. I stick to facts. I don't do the name calling. You call my leader a name, and then I will call your leader 4 names. That's my mantra. I am not going to take it all lying down and smile and sweet and be demure about it. No. I am here not as a woman, not as a man. I am here as a Congress party representative to put my party's view across, however strongly and assertively as I can. If that makes me aggressive, deal with it. But you being assertive and you being ill-mannered and I'm going to sit there and take your, in Gen Z language, shit lying down, I'm not going to do that.
I think that's the thing. They're not used to someone who actually is
I
fighting
think it's
back.
time BJP gets used to their own medicine, and I think they are. A bunch of us in the Congress don't take things lying down. Please understand one thing: the Congress is a 140-year-old party.
Correct.
We are a party that has fought India's freedom struggle. There are leaders who believe that politics should still be done, with a lot of grace and I agree with that. I think politics should be done with grace.
Yeah.
We are not sworn enemies. We are political opponents. But the other side also needs to appreciate and understand that. And if the other side is not going to appreciate that, then how do you have a sane conversation? You are sticking to facts. They're doing the name calling. You are talking about the situation today. They will start abusing Nehru and Indira ji and Sonia ji. How do I take it lying down? I mean, I don't think it's fair.
Is there any spokesperson from any of the parties that you actually enjoy having? You have a reasonable debate with, and you enjoy sparring with.
I'll be very honest with you. I love debates which are factual. I
Huh.
love debates that can get feisty and fiery. I love debates where both sides are sticking to their arguments and going at it with facts. You come to me with facts, you can win me over. You come to me with slander and all kinds of name calling, I'm sorry. And I do believe that the BJP has a few wise souls who are supposed to be the intellectual powerhouse, and the amount of fake news that they spread on live shows is crazy. Without, of course, demeaning media of which I've been a part, those snippets get edited out of interviews. Those snippets get edited out of debates. I've been on debates with BJP spokespersons, very senior ones, where the audience is calling out their fake news. And when the final product comes on air, that part is not there. So I'm happy debating with somebody who's done their homework. And it's always good. Now you've done like I go very prepared.
Huh.
I have my facts, I go with printouts, I go with pictures. Because I think debates need to also rise a certain level. I mean, look at Rahul Gandhi's rallies today, the one that he did in Kota. He's talking about facts and figures and engaging with the youth. That's what we aim and aspire to do. And then you have someone who's not come prepared. Some of them don't even know what the topic is. I've dealt with some of these people sitting in your chair as an anchor.
Correct.
I've had BJP spokespersons call me up and say, "Zara 4-5 points bata dijiye show ke pehle." And you wonder how are they going to defend? And the defense is never defense. The defense is slander. The defense is, the defense is filibustering, shifting the goalpost. How is that a debate at all?
And also on social media, because a lot of our that's the new town hall, really,
Yeah.
and you got a tough job handling that. So, is there some lines that you do not cross?
I never cross a line where we are name calling. I never cross a line where we are slanderous. I never cross a line where I'm breaching into people's private lives. I don't talk about the prime minister's marital status, or I don't talk about somebody's daughter marrying somebody else's son. I don't get into that because I personally feel that's not what politics should be about. And I see my leader, and that's not the politics he indulges in. He really takes on the BJP. I mean, who takes on the BJP as much as Rahul Gandhi and the whole ecosystem, the RSS and all of that? But he never crosses, he never brings the discourse down. He never starts talking about the ancestors of Mr. Modi or anything like that. But Mr. Modi cannot do away with the temptation of talking about Nehru or talking about Rajiv ji or Sonia ji in a certain way. And I think that's not going to be taken lying down. As far as social media is concerned, it's become a very ugly space because, the anonymity of social media empowers people to misbehave. So, and frankly, some Chintu sitting in Chandigarh is calling me names. I don't care because that Chintu at the Chandigarh airport may want a selfie with me. Where I draw a line is that if you bring my children into it, people have morphed my pictures, people have done all that shit. I have never really gotten into it. I've never really, taken it on. I don't go to the police and file cases because, okay, this is how ugly politics is. Everybody knows that picture is morphed. People have used my father's picture with me, alleging all kinds of nonsense. So that's what politics has become. That's what the BJP has made it to be. The only line I don't allow people to cross is if they morph my daughter's pictures or somebody issues her a rape threat, I will tear you apart. And by tear you apart means I will take you to the police and I will ensure you face the might of Indian law. And I've done that.
I think that is pretty reasonable.
Yeah. I've signed up for this. They haven't.
Correct.
Yeah.
What do they think of your political choices that you joined?
My children.
Your children, yeah. That the fact that you joined politics.
I think they're very proud of the fact that I stand for what I believe in because I'm not a different person at home. I don't say something else ideologically at home and then say something else on it. So they know that I'm the same person. I stand for what I strongly believe in life and in my profession. And they don't have a say on my politics. But they broadly agree with what the Congress stands for. My son's a big Rahul Gandhi admirer, and he believes that, and he says it to me, that when he speaks about the youth, it's very empowering. It's not as if he's talking down to us. That's not true of the other side.
Okay, so that's important because the next point I really wanted to talk about is Rahul Gandhi and his connect with the youth.
True.
The kind of issues Rahul is now picking up, or maybe he's now getting more airtime, whichever way you want to look at it. Do you think there is a realization that the Congress needs the youth vote, which it did not get in the last few elections?
But Priya, Rahul Gandhi has always engaged with people who need political voices to stand with them. I mean, you look at Bhatta Parsol, you look at Niyamgiri. Why was he standing with those tribals and those farmers? Because they needed a strong political voice to stand with them so they get the right compensation for their land, so that they are not exploited by the mining barons. And which is when he says that the youth needs to be empowered, and when he talks about Gen Z, he's not looking at them as a vote bank. He's really looking at them as stakeholders of the India story. I mean, we are the youngest nation in the world. Gen Z, so to say, is not just our future, it is our present. And when they are saying some things and when they are voicing their concerns, they're not anti-national. I mean, the whole CBSE fiasco explained to the young in this country what are the two political ends of the spectrum. The CBSE fiasco, and who brought those details out? 17-year-old Nisarg, 18-year-old Sarthak Siddhant, Vedant. These were the people who brought out all the anomalies, hacked into the website, told you what was wrong with the system. The whole OSM, how that company was, Coemt was brought in, was done by the CBSE students themselves, some of them who were awaiting their results. And what did Rahul Gandhi do? Rahul Gandhi empowered them. He gave them a platform on his own social media to talk to them so that they could be heard. And eventually the Congress ex-member of parliament, Digvijay Singh, invited them to the parliamentary standing committee, where he tells me that even the BJP MPs were floored with how confident he was with its facts and everything else, and the CBSE had no answer to some of what he was raising. When Rahul Gandhi is going to Kota and speaking to the NEET aspirants, or when he goes to Mukherjee Nagar and speaks to people who are preparing for civil services, he's really speaking to the young Indians. And what are they grappling with? They are grappling with uncertainty. It's very easy for us to say the youth and they are the future and it's very hunky-dory. But they are really toiling hard. They go and give these exams. Look at the conditions. Bhed bakri ki tarah bhar ke jaate hain. Imtihan dete hain. the paper gets leaked, they're back to square one. I mean, 14 children have committed suicide after the NEET paper leak. Is anybody even interested or talking about them or acknowledging that in the BJP? So back to what I was saying. So the youth saw that here was somebody who was willing to champion their cause, who said very categorically, this is not a political meeting. I am not going to talk politics. I will not utter the word BJP. This is about you. This is about your future, your issues. And then on the other side, there are people who are calling Gen Z anti-national. Vedant was immediately told to go to Pakistan because he exposed the system of which he's at the receiving end of. So I think it's not about the vote bank. I think it's about injustice being done. And the one thing that anybody who knows Rahul Gandhi remotely, little, lot, of the many things that he cannot stand, injustice stops them all. And it is, I see it in his everyday life. It is about how someone deals with domestic staff. It is about how leaders who are walking with him are greeting the guard on the gate. It is how he speaks to his driver. He believes that injustice of any kind must not be tolerated at any level. And I think that is what makes him who he is, and that defines his politics at large.
Do you see a certain turning point? Because the problem has never been with what Rahul Gandhi says, because he's been raising all the right issues, from COVID, from the economy, from China, a lot of issues that resound, but somehow they don't seem to make that last mile connect when it comes to.
No, I don't agree with that. I think all of the issues that he raised, and you're absolutely right, whether it was the COVID, where he said a tsunami is coming, whether it was the migrant issue, whether it was the economic impact, whether it is the economic impact of the Israel-Iran-American conflict, whether it is the diesel LPG crisis in India, he had forewarned about it all. Now, any constructive government, any sensitive government will use this as a constructive criticism and will look for the results, will look for solutions. This government chose to belittle him, they chose to ridicule him. Each time he has been proven right. So I don't know if there are two questions you asked. One question is, was there a turning point? No, I think this is who he has always been. Like a lot of people now say, he meets coolies and he's meeting scooter mechanics and he's meeting he's meeting all kinds of people, he's meeting construction workers. But that's exactly what he was doing even when we were in power. He was standing at Niyamgiri, he was in Bhattaparsolis because he believes that is what politics should be. And the
They've
other
been
part
not consistent. His earlier, until now, my criticism is also in two parts. Earlier, all these events that he talked about were episodic. But now we are seeing a more consistent engagement from Rahul's side.
I'm not so sure about that. And one of the reasons, perhaps, for some people to say that is because when he took up a cause, there was a solution one arrived at. When he took up the land of the farmers, we got a land acquisition law. He saw a problem, he acknowledged it, he protested for it, he ensured there was a law made. There was a, land acquisition law, 4 times the compensation is what farmers received. They got a healthy compensation. When he looked at Niyamgiri and he saw what was happening, he ensured that Vedanta had to leave that place. So he looked at a problem, there was a solution one arrived at. No, he's not a madman to just go protesting if there are solutions on the table. In the last 10, 12 odd years, we are grappling with one problem after the other, and all of those problems are either being pushed under the table or under the carpet, or they're not even being acknowledged. They're merely being acknowledged. The fact that NEET failure or CBSE fiasco is not even being acknowledged at the highest level. The least you can do is, even if it is for, perception and theatrics, at least remove the damn minister. But that's what the government is not willing to do. So obviously, when you say consistent, I think it's because of lack of solutions. He's had to push the pedal a lot harder. But I do want to go back to answer a question that you had raised. And that question was, is this defining his politics? I think this is what he has always done.
Okay, my turning point was actually not so much for Rahul, but the way he's being perceived by the allies is actually, I didn't articulate it properly. For instance, the whole theory was that during the last Lok Sabha elections, the Congress needed the allies more. But now it seems as if the allies need the Congress more. We've seen Mamata Banerjee, we've seen DMK wishing him on his birthday despite being angry and upset with him. So is there a feeling that Rahul is now the best placed leader, at least amongst the allies? Has he got that acceptability? Which
I think he always had that acceptability.
इतना नहीं था. You saw
I'll
how
tell
it
you.
was.
I'll tell you why. The 2024 election was a litmus test for Indian democracy. Here was a party that was talking about 400 seats. It was reined in at 240. And the whole campaign was thrust upon the one constitution that Rahul Gandhi had in his hand. We saw leader after leader do that. Even when these MPs were sworn in, parties after parties were swearing with the constitution in hand. I think that was the turning point for the allies. They realized this is what we have to say, this is what we have to do. When Rahulji was speaking about vote chori, a lot of people kept quiet. And it was almost like it's his battle to fight. But a lot of them have now come back to realize no, it is equally our battle to fight. Elections are not free and fair. People are being disenfranchised. There is no level playing field. What the BJP is doing, not just with the ED, CBI income tax, but weaponizing the election commission against India's democracy, are very tough issues to deal with. So I don't think, and quite frankly, I'll go with what RG has said. I'll go with what he has said. I mean, that speech to me, which he gave at the India Bloc meeting, if you ask me, it's a speech that not many people in not just Indian politics, but politics all over the world can make. It's a speech where somebody is willing to take the criticism and he's still willing to rise above the petty squandering of seats and talk about the big picture. And when he says that I will be a madman to fight you because you are my allies and we need to do this together, he's really being the adhesive, the glue that India's opposition needs. So I will not be cocky to say, we told you so. You've come back to realize that. A lot of people had questioned his leadership. They realized that he's been consistent in his attack with the BJP. All of that, I think realization at any stage is a good realization. But I think allies by and large agree with one thing, that if there is one person who's never going to compromise with the BJP, no matter what the odds, it will be Rahul Gandhi.
But also allies have come majburi mein. If you look at it, Mamta did not want to come until her party was broken. Same for, even Sharad Pawar, even Uddhav Thackeray in that sense. They are now coming. So are we also seeing a melting of the regional allies? And are we seeing now back to a two-party rule? Are you seeing that?
No, I'm not going to jump the gun.
Does that suit the Congress? Because all these guys have come up at your expense.
No, look, I'll be very honest with you. I'm going to answer this question as a Congress person and also as a
political
Indian. Yeah, political. Somebody is a student of Indian politics. You are absolutely right. Most of these parties came up at our cost, at our behest. It is, I shouldn't be sitting here and, clipping my hands in glee and saying, yes, they're all getting over and we're going to go. I don't think that's the Congress party. I don't think that's Rahul Gandhi. I don't think it's his politics. So I will be unfair to his politics. I will be unfair to him if I were to sit here and smile in glee and say, oh, very good, they're all perishing and we're going to rise. I don't think that's our politics at all. I think we're in this together. I think there is a lot of injustice being done to regional parties. I think at some stage, there is a reckoning, there is an acceptance that regional parties cannot fight the BJP machinery all on their own. They've come up because of certain coalitions, they've come up with certain regional causes, but today's politics needs us to be together. Today's politics is about a fight between two ideologies. It is no longer just about West Bengal or UP or Bihar or Madhya Pradesh. It is really about two kinds of India. And on that, the ideology is two ends of the political spectrum. There's Congress at one end and the BJP at the other. And I think everyone in between will have to choose where do they want to stand. I'll end by saying Rahul Gandhi doesn't want any of them to diminish. But the people of this country realize that if you are going to fight the BJP, you will have to fight them ideologically before you fight them any other way. You cannot be praising the RSS. You cannot be kowtowing around the BJP and then expect to fight them and win it. No, that's not going to happen. Elections, and you've covered politics for far longer, Priya. Elections today are a completely different ball game. Politics in India has completely changed. I keep saying we are not sworn enemies. The other side doesn't think so.
Okay, but there is also, all this is very good in terms of, an ideology. But on ground, there is you and there is, say, some UP, your home state is going for elections soon. There is also Samajwadi Party, which feels that, we are the primary stakeholders in the state. So when it comes to seat sharing, should the Congress go for the higher ideology fight, or should it go for its own survival fight and fight the SP for the number of seats?
Look, if we are going to be fighting elections together, we are going to squander for some seats ourselves. We are not going to say, okay, you fight all the seats and we're just going to sit here. I think it happens with alliances anywhere that alliances are struck. I am sure the senior leadership of both the Congress and the SP will sit together and we will beat out a formula that suits us both. This is a run up to the elections. And obviously, they are going to demand a higher pound of flesh and we will demand a larger pound of flesh. That's bound to happen. That's what electoral, that's what coalition politics is all about. I have no qualms with that, as long as both of us believe in the one vision of UP. And I think on that the SP and us are together. I wish Miss Mayawati also sees things as we see them. Why should she be protecting the BJP when the BJP needs to be exposed? Her own electorate has suffered a lot under almost 10 years of the BJP rule. Look at what's happening in Uttar Pradesh today. I mean, as a devout Hindu and as somebody who practices the religion very, very proudly, I am extremely aggrieved to what's happening in the Ram temple. First, while the temple was being built, there was a major land scam.
Yeah.
Now there's a major chanda chori scam. And these are self-appointed custodians of religion. How can somebody not call them out? So I think the SP and the Congress will obviously try and pull the strings in both ends. But eventually, I think our leadership will sit down and we'll have a good, workable solution.
Coming to that, the Ram Janmabhoomi, the scam, the temple, the fund scam, it's very interesting that I'm seeing that this is also being debated a lot in the mainstream media, which you don't see usually cases.
And you know why?
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you. Why? You tell me.
So I'm going to wear my political hat from UP now and I'm going to talk like a pakka UP wala and tell you what is happening in the BJP in UP. There is a very, very divisive BJP in Uttar Pradesh. The Home Minister and the Chief Minister can't see eye to eye. It's very well known. Yogi ji or Amit Shah ji ki baatcheet bhi nahi hoti hai. Amit Shah ji has tried to put his own people to sort of manage the system. Yogi has asserted. So there's a lot of, they're pulling in two directions, so to say. This scam does show the UP government in very poor light, and rightly so. And for the Chief Minister of UP to get up and say, don't talk about this till the SIT is on, why not? I mean, there are so many people who have given their life savings for this temple. They believe that this is the abode of Lord Ram, and then you're doing this. It suits Mr. Amit Shah to let this fester. It suits the one engine of double engine here to let Yogi face the brunt, which he should. I agree he should. But so should the central government, because Modi himself has been the face of the whole temple construction and how the temple was inaugurated, and it was all centered around him. So you can't walk away from the blame right now. So the tug of war is really between the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh and the Delhi establishment, and which is why you have the former principal secretary also speaking against the Chanda. It's a fascinating story where you should have your popcorn out and watch this play out between UP and Delhi on one hand, and which is why mainstream media that acts at the behest of the Home Minister and the Prime Minister
I'm
here
letting you say this.
is willing to say, or is willing to have debates, and is willing to say, how many debates has mainstream media done on NEET paper leak? How many debates has mainstream media done on the CBSE fiasco? How many debates is mainstream media willing to do on the poor quality of construction, on the health of our economy? How many debates is mainstream media willing to do on $80 to a barrel is where crude at? Why are prices not coming down? None. Because that shows the central government in very poor light.
So that is actually a very interesting insight that you have shared with us. But having said this, we are I think out of time. So I want to ask you one last point: is that there are, of course, there have to be factional fights against any healthy political party. But somehow they seem to get their act together, which the Congress is now doing it. I saw it in Kerala. That Rahul Gandhi actually reached out to Shashi Tharoor, and whatever differences aside were put aside for the fight. So is Congress also now forget the BJP, but the Congress is it coming into its own?
No, I think the Congress has always done it.
And Rahul has also said that my old guard always doesn't let me function. Now with the change in the Karnataka CM, we're also hearing organizational changes. Is Rahul finally going to put his team in place and there is no...
Look, anybody who's in the Congress is Team Rahul Gandhi. I mean, for anyone
yes
to say...
and no, how these things work.
No, but I'll be honest with you. If you are in the Congress and if you're willing to fight the BJP, there is only one way to fight it. You've got to fight it tooth and nail. You've got to fight it up front. And if you're doing all of that, you're Team Rahul Gandhi. I mean, I don't think any of us believe that we are Team this. All of us are Team Rahul Gandhi. Yes, I do believe that Rahul Gandhi doesn't cut corners while fighting with the BJP. He is going to give it as good as he gets. He is going to uphold you to a certain standard. He is going to also he's going to put you in the dock and will ask you questions that are uncomfortable. And some of those questions are asked in very plain, simple speak that maybe the old guard is not comfortable with. वो जी जनाब आप अदाब की पॉलिटिक्स अब नहीं है, क्योंकि सामने वाला आपसे वो नहीं कर रहा है. आप उनसे आज की बात करते हैं, वो नेहरू की बात करते हैं, और आप उनसे जी जनाब आप आदाब और प्रणाम. Doesn't work. So Rahul Gandhi does very plain speak politics. He doesn't cut corners. He's not willing to compromise. And if you have an issue with that, too bad. That's not how things can be.
That's the team he's going to be putting in place, clearly.
I mean, that's the team which is in place.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much
Thanks so much
for this
Priya.
very frank conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, Priya.